I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Today is the winter solstice, which means it is going to be the shortest and darkest day of the year, and I will show you why. But today, the energy is going to be restless. You are going to have some restless, kind of jittery energy. And we're seeing that also in the Schumann chart today. So we have this solstice energy that is building up today, and it's not the easiest energy at all because we're awaiting this seasonal change right now because we're beginning this new karmic cycle that is literally beginning today. So as the day progresses, yet again, you're going to feel restless, you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel those heart palpitations, this jitteriness. But remember, this energy is really pushing us, especially today. It's pushing us into those newer levels, those newer, higher vibrational levels where you can start controlling maybe your emotions and your actions because you're thinking in terms of grounded thinking and practical, and as you act upon that, your focus is solely on that, and that's kind of not a good thing right now because you can dive a little bit too far, and that's going to kind of propel you into that darkness, that gloomy feeling, that negative outlook, especially today. So there may be a need to adjust your energy today, and maybe multiple times, because we're trying to make all of these adjustments and we're trying to do it at a quick pace, which just isn't suitable. But with these changes, it's going to be prevalent that we stay in alignment and stay focused and centered without spiraling into those negative energies and negative thoughts that start this new process of the karmic cycle. With that being said, look at the energy in the Schumann today. This makes a lot of sense. So this is going on in the present moment. Yes, we do have light coming in, but it is pressing against those negative standpoints. We are getting some more density. There's a lot going on here. And today is one of those portals that is just going to bust it wide open because we have the new year progressing still. But yet again, today is a day more so of darkness kind of everywhere. But this is really going to be prevalent. There are going to be a lot of emotional triggers. People are really going to focus on that doom and gloom aspect. Make sure you try to stay out of that. It's sometimes inevitable that, we go through that process, but just be mindful today that that's the energy that is entering in. It's clearing that crown chakra. But in order to do that and for you to remain in that alignment, it is going to bring up a lot of dark feelings. Just be mindful of that. And with that being said, here is what we have to work with today. So we have had 4 flares already today. Note, we have already had an M4.2 from region 3519, which I will show you, but we have some harder configurations here, some magnetic complexities that happened overnight. If you note up here, 3530 also went to a highly magnified classification overnight, but we will be looking at these areas. So this is the look at our sun right now. We have 9 sunspot regions. Each one of these regions has had minor growth development throughout the night. We are going to look at 3519. This gave us that M-class flare, which I'll show you a photo of. And we're also going to look at 3521, 3528, and then our biggest flare over here, 3529, even though this one gave us an X-class flare. I mean an M-class. What am I talking about? So here is that region 3519. Note the percentages. We do not have a high percent chance of having anything really from here. A 5% chance for an M-class flare. Look at that. Although we had an M-class flare, an M4.2 from this region because these pockets came together, but it is in beta range, still around the same exact size as it was yesterday. Very minor growth, but apparently we need to watch out for this one. Even though the percentages are very small, that kind of came out of nowhere. And here is a beautiful photo of that M4.2 going off in region 3519. It did not send us into a radial blackout, and we did have two CMEs that were near this west limb over here. However, the first one, it was noted that it missed Earth. The second one is still ongoing analysis, but they also suspect that it is going to miss Earth because it is so far off of the limb now. Now this is region 3521. Notice the percentage here, a little bit higher. We are going to expect to see some C-class flares from this region, especially as these buffers dissipate. As you can see, we do have quite a bit of buffers there, so just take note of that. But we do expect to see, yet again, those minor C-class flares from 3521. We just need to take a look at it because there's growth. Okay, so this is 3528. This one definitely went up in size and in the number of sunspots. It is spreading apart, guys, but we do have a higher percent chance of having some C-class flares, which we probably will, although, yet again, it is spreading apart. And then we have that 10% chance of having an M-class flare, but there's many regions right now, but we are going to keep note of those larger ones. And lastly, this is by far the largest region on the sun right now. It developed a number of sunspots and went into beta and gamma. Well, actually, it's still in beta and gamma complexity. As you can see, it is spreading apart even though it grew in size, but we have these buffers over here that will probably touch, and we will get some higher flares from that region. But we do expect to see lots of light for C-class flares, lots of C-class flares, especially in this area, and a 10% for an M-class flare, which can also happen if they touch at the right exact place, right? So what we want to note is that this region is also spreading apart, but within the next 24 hours, we could see a lot of development. We could see it coming together. We could see new configurations, but we want to take note of 3529 just because of how large it is and how complex it is. And this is our electron flux. So I said yesterday that we are expecting a rise in our electron flux, and here we go. So we're going to see some higher levels here, which means some higher ascension symptoms. That itchy skin has a lot to do with it. That cognitive dissonance has a lot to do with it, and blurry and dry eyes. Things that pertain to the dermal skin surface. Yet again, you may be experiencing some joint pains and things like that. However, our density has lifted quite a bit, so you might feel a little bit lighter. However, yet again, that winter solstice energy portal is open, causing a lot of that jitteriness and that anxiety. But note that our electron flux is pretty much going to stay here until the 22nd, maybe even longer depending, but we have reached that threshold into higher levels right now. And currently we are at a KP2. Our solar winds are around 340 kilometers per second, so extremely low, very low. We're only supposed to have a weak enhancement from a negative polarity come in on the 22nd, so we do need to note a slight enhancement there. And we also have a very weak enhancement today because that positive polarity is already passing us. But we do need to note that we're going to see maybe a smaller increase into active geomagnetic levels around Saturday. So with that enhancement, you might feel a little bit of a shock as that arrives. And this is about our winter solstice. So this is the first day of winter. Yay, first day of winter. Center of the sun is directly above the Tropic of Capricorn, which is this line right here. So we have very short days in the northern hemisphere up here, long days in the southern hemisphere, which means that it's going to be 24 hours of full sun in the Antarctic Circle, which we're not allowed in anyway, so who fucking cares? But the Arctic Circle up here in the Tropic of Cancer, we are going to experience a lot of darkness. Even on the equator right here, 12 hours of darkness. The Tropic of Cancer, or Capricorn, my bad, is 13.5 hours. So lots of darkness today. Be easy on yourself. It's not easy going through these waves of emotions and then having these triggers literally right on top of each other. So just be mindful of that. Do a lot of self-care. If you need to get away from a situation, please do so. So today is all about new beginnings. Do your self-care. Get yourself out of very toxic situations. This is all about you and what you want to bring in. I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Love ya.